All right, class. I'm excited about this video because it's more about animating than it is about code, although it will be very useful in your games and cartoons. We're going to talk about uh, animating using costumes. And you can see here I've got a couple of sprites already prepped here. I've got the cat and the bat. Actually, let me rename that to the cat. I didn't. What's going on here? There we go. So I've got the cat and the bat. So let's take a look at the costumes the cat has. The cat has costume 1, taking a step, costume 2, in the middle of a step. All right, let's click over to the bat and see what it's got. It's got this Bat D costume where it looks like it's sleeping, it's hanging. I've got it upside down because bats hang. Bat A, wings open. Bat B, wings down. And Bat C, wings open, mouth open, eyes closed. We're going to work these top 3 into his animation, or hers, could be a girl bat. And we will also be using Bat D for when it stops flying. Now, I'm going to click back over to the cat because we're going to start with that one. It's a little bit simpler. Hold on. Let me go back and put that bat back to sleep. There we go. Now, bat's sleeping. It won't distract us. Let's go back to the cat. So the cat has some of the frames that I want, and each one of these things in animation terms would be a frame, okay? So if I use that, you know what it is. So we're going to add another sprite to this, and it's the cat flying sprite. And we're going to take some frames from the cat flying and drop them into our regular cat. So I'm going to go over here to choose a sprite. Scroll down and find my cat flying. Okay, we've brought that one in. We're going to click on costumes. We have cat flying A, cat flying B. We want both of those. So I'm just going to click and drag this over to the cat. Now I'm going to click on cat flying B, do the same thing. Drag that over to the cat, and now I can get rid of this one. Okay, so now let's go back over here to cat. We have costume 1, costume 2, cat flying A, cat flying B. Awesome. Now, let's go to our code. See what we can do. So, let me see. Actually, let me reset that. Costume 1. Okay, so we want to do things when we've pressed the left arrow or the right arrow and the space key. That's what I'm going to use for this demo. Okay, so we click on events. And when the left arrow is pressed, drag that out. When the right arrow is pressed, and we'll drag that out. These two are the same. Okay, they use the same code, so with just a little tiny change. Now we'll go over to control, and we're going to get a repeat, okay? So we're going to drag this out. We're not going to repeat it 10 times, though. We're going to repeat it 2 times, okay? And actually, I'll do this on the right arrow because it uses positive numbers, and that'll be less confusing to you. So when we press the right arrow, we want to move. And I've pre-tested this, so I know what numbers I'm going to use. You guys, when you do it, when you follow along and repeat this, you can change the numbers around and see how it looks to you. These were numbers that I was happy with. So we're going to move 10 steps. That is the default. And we're going to change the costume to costume 2. Put that on there. We're going to go to control. We're going to wait 0.1 seconds. So that is 0.1, just to be clear, 0.1 seconds, very short amount of time, okay? And then we're going to repeat this. So I'm going to click up here, I'm going to right click on this move, I'm going to duplicate it, so now I have another set just like that. I'm going to put that below there, I'm going to switch back to costume 1. So now, when the right arrow is pressed, he goes like that. So now I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to make him back up. And I'm going to change this to -5 and -5 because I don't know about you, but I can't run as fast backward as I can forward. So now when I press the left arrow, he's going to back up. And when I press the right arrow, he goes forward. Okay, now I did do something a little bit different. Let me see if this makes a difference. Costume 1, costume 2. Yeah, it seems to be working all right. So the first time I did this, I had costume 1, then costume 2 on the right arrow, then costume 2, switching to costume 1 on the left arrow. I don't know how much difference it really makes, but, you know, we'll put it there. Now, the last thing we need to do is make this cat fly or jump, right? So you can think of this as like a jump in your video game with a character. So now events, when the space key is pressed, we're going to do another repeat. Did I only repeat that once? I guess I don't need to do a repeat. I can just do it. Yeah, we'll do a repeat 1. It worked for me last time, so we'll do it again. And then we're going to switch costumes. We're going to switch to cat flying B. And then we will move 10 steps. Because, you know, you got to take a step before you jump. And then we will change Y by 50. Okay. We're going to wait 0.1 seconds. We're going to switch the costume to cat flying A. We're going to wait again. This time we're going to wait 0.3 seconds. Okay, and now, actually I can get rid of that repeat. I think I just dragged that down, so we'll get rid of that. And we will go back to motion. We will move more steps, but this time we're going to move 30 steps. We're going to switch back to costume 1. And then we're going to change Y by how much? Minus 50. That's how much. Because we have to come back down to Earth. So put minus 50. So we're going to go forward, we're going to go up, we're going to go forward some more, and then we're going to come down. So when we press the space key, right? So now our cat can back up, walk forward. I'm going to drag it back so we have a little more room for this. We can walk forward, and then we can jump. So you can play with all of these numbers and see what you like. But I'd like you to do the same steps I did and try it out for yourself so you can see how things work. All right, and you could just as easily, instead of using the space key, use the up arrow. You can use any key you like. And I'm going to use some different keys when I get to the bat. So give me just a second to get to my bat notes. There they are. So control on the bat. Click on the bat or events. So we're going to use a variable on this one to kind of control the bat because the bat doesn't move when it's sleeping, right? So when the green flag is clicked, we're going to add a variable. Well, I've already done it. Let me delete that so you can see how I do this from scratch. So we're going to make a variable. We're going to, for this sprite only, because it's only the bat. We don't want our flying variable to affect our cat if by chance we decide to make one. So it's just for this one. So we're going to call it flying. Oops. Say okay. And so now you see bat flying is 0. So we're going to set bat flying to 0. And I'm going to go up here to set my rotation style to all around. Okay, and I found that through experimentation. Just roll with it for now. So now we're going to do some more events. And I'm going to use totally different keys for the bat because it's difficult to control two characters at the same time. And I don't want any of my keys that I want to control the cat with to accidentally control my bat. So when the A key is pressed, we're going to change our variable and we're going to set it to 1. Okay, so I'm going to show you what's called binary logic in this, and that's a fancy term for using 0 and 1. It has two states. You've probably heard about that before. Computers talk in zeros and ones. Computers only use 0 and 1. And they use binary numbers to figure things out. Computers can do math with bigger numbers, but it breaks them down into zeros and ones before it does it. It's not super important for you to understand all of that right now. Just know this is binary logic that we're setting up here. Okay, it's a cool term you can impress your parents with. All right, so we're going to go to control and now we're going to go repeat until, here it is down here, repeat until, and we're going to go to an operator and we're going to say repeat until something is equal to something else. So when we're flying, we're going to keep flying until we're not. Okay? So we're going to say repeat until flying is equal to 0. So as long as we're flying, we're going to do the steps that are in here. And as soon as we stop flying, we won't do the steps in here. Okay? So I'm going to go up here to motion. I'm going to say point in direction 90. Let me see right now. Our direction is minus 90. So when we go to direction 90, let me show you here. It turns him upright. Okay, I'm going to put that back to minus 90. Okay, so when the A key is pressed, we're going to start flying. And we're going to keep flying until something tells us not to fly anymore. Okay, so we're going to go upright. We're going to start changing our looks now. We're going to switch to a new costume, bat C, and we're going to wait. We're going to wait 0.1 seconds, 0.1 seconds. And then we're going to go to looks. We're going to switch to bat A. Actually, hold on. I'll show you how to do this a little faster. We can duplicate this instead of dragging them out. Go to bat A, duplicate that, and you can already see I'm starting to fly. And bat B. Is that the right order? That's the order I found that I liked. So that's what he looks like when he's flying for me. Again, you can play with these numbers in here, play with the costume order if you like. Give it a try, see what you think. See if you can come up with something that looks better than what I did. Maybe you can. There's no reason you can't. So now we're going to have to tell the bat how to stop flying. Okay? So we're going to change this to the S key. All right? And we're going to use 6 keys on the bat because it's going to be able to fly up, down, left, and right. But let's get him started flying and stopping flying. So now when the S key is pressed, we're going to make it stop flying. So I'm going to drag this out. I'm going to change flying to 0. This time I'm going to have it wait 0.2 seconds. Now the reason I'm doing this is because when I was playing with it earlier, getting this lesson figured out, sometimes it would get caught up in different costumes, and waiting 0.2 seconds seemed to fix that. It might not fix it completely. There might be something else I need to work on, but this seemed to fix it. Okay, and now we're going to go back over to control, and that's going to be back to costume D, where he's hanging. All right, so but we can't just, if we do that, okay, but that doesn't look right. Let's fly again. We got to make him upside down. So, and remember, we're animating with costume changes, so we want things to look kind of natural, look cartoony in this case. So now we're going to do a repeat, okay? And we're going to repeat this 6 times. And again, this is one of those things you can play with the numbers and see if you can figure out something that looks a little better, maybe moves a little smoother. I've talked to a couple of you about smooth movement in your animations and your timing before. So we're going to turn 30 degrees 6 times. And when we do that, we're going to wait 0.1 seconds between each turn. So now when I press the S key, he turns. He collapses his wings and turns. So it might actually look better if I do this way. Let's try that. Whoa. Oops, I pressed the S key. That's what happened there. So now he's flying. We press the S key and he stops. Okay, flies when I press A and then stops. And I don't know. I'm going to go back to the way I had it. Yeah, I think I like that better. I think it looks a little cuter. I don't know. We'll see. And now we need to make the bat able to fly around the screen. So this is going to have a lot of if statements controlling our movement. So because we don't want our bat to fly when he's sleeping, we only want him to fly when we've told him to. So we're going to say when the D key is pressed, I'll set these down here, we're going to go to control and we're going to say if flying is equal to 1, then we'll move. Okay? So if flying is equal to 1, so we go to operators. Operators are ways that we can evaluate our variable states. We can ask a question. Hey, what is my variable set to? And if it's equal to something, if it's less than something, greater than something, whatever, then we can do something as a result. So we're going to get this equal to thing. And I'm going to say if flying is equal to 1, go over here and grab my variable. Oops. Drag that out. So if we're flying, then we're going to move left. Okay? So remember, same thing with the cat. Left is negative steps. So I'm going to make this minus 10 steps. Okay? And now I can do the same thing for my F key. I'm going to duplicate this all to save some time. And I'm just going to change this to the F key. All right, so now let's take a look at what it does. Oh, wait, I need to update my steps because he'll only move to the left if I do that. And also notice I've tried to make this pretty easy on the keyboard. So if you put your fingers on the home row, A with the pinky finger starts the flying, S stops the flying. Oh, see, it got hung up on that costume again. Let me see if I do this. A, S to stop. Okay, that worked. Now A to start flying. And if I do D, he goes to the left on the screen. And if I go F, he goes to the right on the screen. And then stop. Boom. Okay. And we're back to sleeping. Now bats can fly up and down too. Often they have very uneven flight paths. So they bounce around a bit in the air. They're not quite as graceful as a bird. So we're going to duplicate this whole thing here, but we are going to have to make a change. I'm going to scroll down a little bit and put that in the middle for you. Instead of moving 10 steps, okay, we're going to change Y by 10. So we're going to do that, and I need to update my key. I don't want to use the E key for that, or the D key. I want to use the E key. Right, and now the last thing is duplicate again, and then make it go down, because sometimes the bat's got to dive down and grab that bug out of the air. So now let's see what we do. Okay, press my flag, press A, oops, tapped A and S there. So now we're flying, and we've got D to the left, F to the right. We've got, oh, and I didn't update it again. You guys, you should have said something to me. Okay, so now we've got it. So we can go E for up, we can go C for down. All right. And the bat can get anywhere on the screen and start sleeping. Stop flying, start sleeping. Okay, and don't forget, because we used different keys, we can still control our cat, right? In fact, I think it might actually be better. Let me go back to the cat. We're going to change this from the space key. We're going to use the up arrow, because now I can control my cat with one hand and my bat with the other. And that's pretty tough to control two things at once, but it does put it all together. Okay, so I hope you guys see what we're doing here with our costume changes. I think it's pretty cool because I went to school for game design and I did a lot of character animation. And this is what we had to do. We had to make all of these pictures of our sprites doing different things, or 3D models doing different things, and set them up to move based on different key presses. So now you have an idea of what it takes to make your characters look like they're moving around the screen. So I'm going to share this project. I'm going to call it Cat Walking, Bat Flying. So you can look me up again on Scratch. Remember, Miskatonic Headmaster. If you want to see my code, you're welcome to it. Try some things out, implement it in your own game or your own cartoon. We're going to save and share. You guys, if you have any questions, make a comment or message me on chat. Miss you. Hope to see you soon. I'm going to fill out the instructions here off camera. Have a great day. This was a long video. Thanks for sticking with me. Bye.